Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Group 4 for professionals. So, this is the advanced spoken English class for professionals. And yes, this is our fourth consecutive group. And yes, so just like I mentioned earlier, this is the open session and the introductory session for the Group 4. So if you have any questions, you can send them through the Zoom chat. So I'll be answering them as well. So today what I'm trying to do here is I will be giving an introduction to the course, and also I will be doing a lesson also, right? So please try to understand. As you can see, there are many students who have joined today, so I can't give the opportunity to every one of you to speak up. But if you have any questions, you can send them in the Zoom chat. And from next week onwards, so already we have a good count of students to start the class. So from next week onwards, those confirmed and paid students will be able to speak in the class. And also, let me give you a brief introduction to the course. Now, what are we trying to cover here? Right? So as everybody now, some of y'all have personally contacted me and you got the details, and I have done so many introductory sessions before also. So you might have watched the videos on our YouTube channel, but still, let me give you the introduction again. So in this course, this will be a 4-month course. And yes, today it's the first day, of course. Now in this one, we'll be mainly focusing on the spoken part of the language, right? Now, many students like with experience and also the students who contacted me personally, the main thing that they told was now they don't have that much of a confidence to present themselves in an audience, and also they run out of words and they can't find the exact proper word to describe the situation, and also some of them are very shy to speak. Now first thing in our class is we'll be trying to get rid of these barriers, right? So before we learn anything, we have to maintain a good mental state where you don't have any barriers to speak the language. So first we'll be working on that, right? And also one more thing that you have to be aware is now the main reason that you tell is I get stuck, I don't know the correct word. The reason is actually the number of words that you know are quite limited. So in all of our sessions, we'll be doing an extra thing also. Now, apart from the lesson, we'll be giving you new words, and not just the words, we'll be giving you example sentences in which you can use them. And most importantly, it is not just sentences, it's not just words. We'll be training you to use these words in a real life situation, and maybe phrases, expressions that you could use, and we'll be training you to use these phrases or expressions in a real life situation. Now, no matter how many words that you know, it really doesn't matter if you don't know how to use it in a real life situation. And in which sort of situations do we have to use it? Now, of course, when we speak, it depends on the person whom you are speaking to. And of course, the tone of voice and also the language. So sometimes it should be formal, sometimes it should be informal. Now if you are talking to your friend, your colleague, your co-worker, then sometimes it's fine to speak informally. But as professionals, okay, I'll talk about personal life now, specifically about your professional life. Now you get to do presentations, and sometimes you have to present yourself to an audience. Maybe you have to deliver a speech, or else in business conferences you have to present yourself. So you have to be in a position where you can express your ideas very clearly, right? So that is number one. Now I know you have a very good understanding about the thing that you have to talk about, but if you don't know how to express that in words, that's where you have gone wrong, right? Now if you give, like most of the students, what they tell is singaling do not කියන්න පුළුවන්. But if you get a chance to speak in English, then you go nuts, right? So you are very nervous, very sweaty. So I don't know, I'm very nervous. I'm not sure if I can make it, right? So many questions, many difficult situations that you might have to face. Now, one more thing. Now, in this class, this is for professionals. So don't misunderstand. Of course, I will be like, even when you were signing up for the course, I told you for this class, I will like the students who join will be the set of students who could speak English up to a certain extent, and the students who are willing to improve the fluency and also to boost up their confidence level. But if there are any student like who would like to start it from the very beginning, then there's my other course. You have to sign up for that. So please understand, this is for professionals, and also undergraduates are also accepted given in the list. So the students who would like professionals who can speak English up to a certain extent, but who are willing to and who is very much interested in improving their language skills, communication skills, interpersonal skills, and also to boost up their confidence level. So for those students, this class is the best choice for y'all. But if there are any students, like if there's anyone who would like to start it from the very beginning, so some students were like, I need it from basics. So if you need to go for basics, this is not the ideal class for you. So I have a separate class for those students who would like to learn it from the basics and from the simplest stuff. So that is spoken English Mula Sita Saralava. I have named it like that. So you could join that class, right? So this is for professionals. Let me repeat myself. The students who could speak English up to a certain extent, but still you make mistakes, right? So, and some students have the knowledge, but still they are very shy to speak. They do not have enough confidence to present themselves. For those students, this is the ideal class. Okay, so let me introduce myself. Now, most of you all asked questions. So, who exactly is the spoken English lecturer? Can I contact her? So, many students wanted to contact me, and some of you all got the chance. So, let me introduce myself again. Right. So, my name is Teja Nanayakara, and I'm currently working as a spoken English lecturer and also as the managing director of Online A Plus Tutor. And also, I have completed my LLB law degree from Liverpool John Moores University, and I'm currently reading for a master's. So apart from that, I'm actually training as a psychology counselor also. And also I'm an alumna of Wycherley International School. So basically those are the areas that I'm engaged in. So I hope that this will be the ideal class for y'all who are wishing to improve their fluency of the language. And also now one more thing. Now some students are very nervous, right? So how do we get rid of those uncomfortable situations? Now I know how do we face an interview, and most of the students are actually postgraduate students. Now they are going through a very difficult time. They can't do their assignments properly. So yes, I will be helping those students separately, but this class is a common class. So of course, I have listed some of the professionals, some of the professions here. But apart from that, if you think that you are included in the category that I mentioned earlier, this is a good uh, choice for y'all. Okay, so already we have doctors, engineers, accountants, bankers. So mostly I think they were engineers. So we have like, this is our fourth group. So in other groups also, similarly, you have students from different groups, different professions. So it doesn't really matter, because when it comes to your professional life, and also for your personal life, sometimes you need to know your English, good English, right? So this will be an ideal class for you. So some students were like, I'm a banker. So are you doing it separately for bankers, or else is it like a group class, common class? So this is a common class, but here I'm trying to do a very common course, right? So in whichever profession that you are engaged in, you need to know these stuff. Right now, how do we present our ideas very clearly? So the most important thing that you have to understand here is, you need to have the correct set of words to start off with, isn't it? So if you don't know the correct word, You can't express your idea. Now, if you talk in Sinhala, if you speak in Sinhala, you know the exact correct word to use in that exact situation, but you don't know the exact English word or maybe the phrase. And sometimes in English there are phrases like idiom, so it doesn't have the literal meaning, it has some hidden meaning. So I will be teaching all of those for y'all. And so for the students who asked about the course content, let me brief it for you. Okay. Now in this class, and yes, one more question. Some of you all asked whether is it only spoken, aren't you covering the grammar parts? So that was a very common question. Grammar in the sense, I won't be doing the grammar lessons as in like school, but I will be training you. How do we use? Of course, we need grammar to speak good English. So I will be training you in a way that it is a very interactive and also a very practical manner. So you will be learning how do we use this grammar in a very real life situation. So yes, I will be doing a small revision on tenses, active, passive, reported speech, everything that you would need. And of course, as per the request of many students, and also with this COVID-19 pandemic situation, there's this need of business email phrases, and also especially like in any profession, at least once in your life, you have to compose an email. So how exactly do we have to do that? So what are the exact phrases that you need to know? So let me show you a part of it. So as you all asked for it, let me just take you through some of those. Now, how do you start one? And according to the purpose of the email, how do you write it? Now, according to the purpose, you have to use that exact specific word, whether you are trying to request, to get an update, to confirm, to invite, to inquire, to let somebody know. And also, how do we write personalized email phrases and how do we write general email phrases? So I will be teaching you those also. And how do you thank? So there are different phrases that you need to know. So this is just a quick, I just took you through the phrases and all that. So that is not just all. I just showed you a few. Okay, so just like that, sorry, I think I shared the wrong one, sorry. So that was just one out of those. Now, similarly, there's this other situation. Let me just explain you it more deeply. Now, there are situations in which you get into very awkward situations where you don't want to answer that specific question. So there are some situations where people ask inappropriate questions from you. So how exactly do you ignore the question or else avoid the question? So what are the phrases that you need to use? This is very important, right? So sometimes you can't expose that information to the public. So how exactly are you going to avoid that question? So there are specific words and phrases that you need to know. And also, just like I mentioned before, there are phrases like, clear the air, up in the air. So how do we use those now? And also these idioms and all that, there's this hidden meaning for those phrases. So you need to know the hidden meaning in order to understand what is said. And most importantly, some of these professionals are working with native English speakers. So of course you need to know those phrases, because native English speakers, they are sometimes, they are not direct. They are very, sometimes implicit, right? So they imply the meaning. So they are not directly saying it. So they indirectly tell something. So you need to know what exactly that person is trying to tell. And also, now, one more example, one more situation. Now, just imagine you need to talk to a person in English and maybe he asked something and you are not certain whether you understood it or not. හරියටම තේරුණාද නැද්ද කියලා you are not certain. Okay, so how do you double check it whether that is the exact question that he asked from me? So like that, there are phrases that you need to know. And also when you get into an awkward conversation, how do you leave the conversation? What phrases can we use? And also, how do we start a conversation? right? And also when you meet someone for the very first time, how would you introduce yourself? And introductions are also very important because the first impression is very important for everyone. And especially as professionals, you have to introduce yourselves quite often, right? So how do we do that? And also specifically interviews, this is very important. At least once in your life, you have to face an interview, isn't it? So sometimes now these days it is done virtually, but back in the day it was done physically. So no matter which platform it is, you have to be very confident with your answers, right? So how do we do that? So I'm just trying to brief it out, but I end up explaining it deeply. So if you have any other questions, you can ask. No. It's not 1 month. It is a 4-month course. Okay, it is a 4-month course. So we'll be starting it from today onwards and we'll be continuing it for 4 months. So someone says I'm not audible. Is that the same with the others? Can you all hear me? Am I audible enough? මං කියන එක ඇහෙනව නේද හැමෝටම? Yes. So I think Milinda, you have to check your connection because I think it is something wrong at your end because other students can hear me. Okay. Yes. One more question that many of you all asked. මේ class එක English වලින්මද කරන්නේ සිංහලෙන් explain කරන්නේ නැද්ද? One thing that you have to understand here. This class is done for professionals, right? One thing. So is there really a necessity to explain it in Sinhala? Sometimes, of course, yes, right? So I will be doing the class in English, conducting the class in English mostly, but if you can't understand it, if you can't really understand or else get the idea properly, then I will be explaining it Sinhala also. So you don't have to worry about the language here because at the end of the day I'm training you to speak fluent English, right? To speak English fluently. So you don't have to worry about that. And some students were very afraid to talk to me even over the phone. So teacher, Sinhalen kata karanna puluwanda. So some people were like that. Of course, I'm a Sri Lankan. I can speak in Sinhala just like I speak in English. මට හොඳට සිංහල කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට තේරෙන්නේ නැති මොනවා හරි දෙයක් තියෙනවා නම් සිංහලෙන් උනත් අහලා ඒක ඔයගොල්ලන්ට අවබෝධ කරගන්න පුළුවන්. Even during the class, if you have a very if you can't understand it properly, if you don't know how to put it together, it's okay. You can ask the question in Sinhala. I'm very open and of course I'm a very friendly person. So I don't know, for some reason, even when I get calls, people are very afraid. Maybe because it's the professionals class. You don't have to be afraid because I'm a very friendly person. I'm open to anyone. So if you have any questions, any doubts, you can talk to me anytime and clear them out. Okay. So සිංහලෙන් උනත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා නම් අහලා ඒක කතා කරලා clarify කරගන්න පුළුවන්. Even during the class. And one more thing that you have to understand, we will be working as a team. So you have to cooperate with others. Right? And one mistake and one weakness in our Sri Lankans is that කවුරුරි වැරද්දක් කළාම hina වෙනවා. Please don't do that because everyone here is with one specific goal, one common goal. What is your goal? You have to improve your language skills, right? You have to improve the fluency. So please work as a team, right? You have to help each other. Don't, criticize others, right? You don't have to show off. You have to work as a team. So please understand, everybody here is with one common goal. So you have to work as a team if you need to make it, successful. So that's just an advice from my end. So I hope that everyone will be very cooperative. So because we'll be doing it for 4 months, so I need your cooperativeness and also your support from your end. And one more thing that I have to remind, this is a two-way thing. So I'm the spoken English lecturer and you are the student, right? So I will be giving my 100%, right? Maybe even more than that. So you have to be in a position where you have to be committed for this class, right? You have to spend time for the language and not just during these 4 months. At least 30 minutes per day, you have to spend it for the language, at least 30 minutes, or else you won't be able to see an improvement in the course, right? So even after the course, now what I'm trying to do here is, even after these 4 months, you will be in a position in which you can explore stuff, right? You will be able to understand anything. Can I change this class time? Do you have another class for this group? Uh, are you asking about changing the time for this group, or else are you asking for, if you need to join another class? I'm not clear about the question. So this is a fixed time. I'm not going to change the time. This is on Mondays, 8:30 to 10:30. This is a fixed slot. So if there is someone who is unable to join during this time, then you can join for group 5. But I have not decided the day and time for group 5 yet. But probably we will start the new one in October, but I have not decided it yet. If there is a new group, I will be updating it on the main WhatsApp group. So you can be in alert, right? You can check the group if you need to, or else you can contact me later on. But speaking of today's class, it is conducted on Mondays, 8:30 to 10:30. The time and day is not going to change. From today onwards, it will be conducted every Monday. And if there is any change, I will be informing you beforehand. Okay, but probably there won't be any change. If there is any cancellation, then I will be I'll let you know, but mostly nothing happens like that. Even if we lose 1 week, I will be covering in a later time also. Okay. Yes. So if you have any other questions, you can ask them before I go for the lesson today. Do you have any other questions? So just like I told you, we have business email phrases, idioms, these phrases, and especially the advanced English. Now, one mistake that you do as professionals, and if you need to speak good English, you can't stay in one level. You have to improve every day. So there's this thing in English where you can tell the same thing in different ways. You have the simplest form, and then the advanced form, professional form, the formal way, the informal way. So I will be, I will make you understand which one is the best way, which one is the more suitable way, and in which situation. Right? So if you are talking to your friend, how should you speak? If you are talking to your superior, how do you ask that question? So always you have to be in a position to relate to these situations. Will you teach conjunctions? So one more thing, so conjunctions lesson is actually not in the professionals course, it is in the other one. But like as a group, if you think that that should be covered, then I will be doing a class, a normal small session on that. So තව දෙයක්, දැන් මේක group class එකක් නිසා I will be giving y'all the opportunity to bring forward recommendations and requests. So I will be considering all of that, and then I'll be deciding whether, if I feel like that this will be important for the whole group, yes, then I will be doing a small lesson on that as well. Now, apart from the normal agenda that I have, if there is anything that you wish to get done in the class, of course I'm open for requests and recommendations also. Okay, any more questions, any other stuff that you have to ask and clarify? Like one paragraph without any stopping, because that type of text very difficult to understand. Yes, this is very important. Now in this, actually a very good question. Now, how do we maintain the flow in a conversation? So yes, you need to know the conjunctions also. So I will be doing like not a separate lesson for conjunctions, but is there a class for beginners? Yes, there's a class for beginners. I will give you the information later on. You can contact me on this number. This is for professionals. Okay, so I gave that. Yes, Yes, one more thing. Now, most of your class, now, just in case if we miss the live class, how do we cover it up? So I will be providing you with the recording of every class. And one more thing, some students think that it is a recording. Even in the class, there's a recording playing. No, it is not a recording. We'll be doing live sessions every week where you can speak in the live class. And also some students were wondering like whether we get a chance, whether we can practice with other students. Yes, this is just like I mentioned earlier, this is a very interactive class. So I will be choosing now, in some situations I will be giving you these conversations to practice. So yes, I will be taking two students at once, and then y'all can present the conversation. So I will be guiding you throughout it. So with grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary, we will be working on all of that. Okay. So do you have any further classes who has completed the course of professionals? So once you have completed this course, actually, now, if you wish, I can prepare something else, but I don't think that you will need anything else once you have completed this, because now the students who are joining for this class is also the group of students who can speak English up to a certain extent. So what I'm trying to do here, my job is to, level up from that point onwards. So afterwards, you can, it is always about practice. You have to keep practicing, you have to keep revising, otherwise you will be forgetting stuff, right? So always you have to start from home at least, and then in your workplace. And of course, in this class I will be providing you like chances. I will be giving each and every one of you to speak in the class, and also to practice with me, and also with your fellow students, the other students who are joining. So later on, I will be giving you the chance to introduce yourselves and get to know the other students. So later on, yes, there are practice sessions. Every week, we are going to practice. So yes, you will be getting the chance to speak in the live class. Mm, to speak after class time. So actually after class time, it is out of control, out of my control. So if you find a friend who is okay to practice even after class, then you can go ahead with that. But it is actually out of my control. I can't, allocate two people into a group and even after hours you can practice. It's actually not my job. But if you feel like there's one person who you can be friends with, then it is up to you to decide. That is out of my control. Yes, so especially this, how do we maintain the flow? And one mistake that everybody does, this they say these are like filler words, right? Those sounds, and there are like literally, actually, like, those are filler words, right? This is highly unprofessional. You can't really do that if you are speaking in English. It shows that you are very nervous, and also you are not confident enough about what you are speaking about, right? And also, just that reminds me of another session actually, where we do these advanced phrases for confident English speaking, or else confident English conversations. So I will be actually teaching you some phrases. How do we face a situation like this? How do we ignore the question, right? So like that. So there are actually many lessons that I have collected, that I have in agenda. So you will be going through all of that. And apart from that, if you feel like this lesson could be helpful, yes, you can bring forward your recommendations, your requests. I will be considering all of that, and I will be doing a session on that as well. If you have any further questions, you can ask now. Anything else that you have to ask? I hope I have given a good introduction to the course. And apart from that, if I have missed anything, you can ask about it also. Yeah. Anything else that you need to know before we go for the lesson? Yes, just like I told you, course content. So course content, I'm not going to share it in writing or anything. It will be only a verbal explanation. So just like I told you, just like I explained, those will be covered during the course, and more stuff are there. Anything else? Okay, so we'll move on to today's lesson if you are ready. Yes, and also the time expressions. These are also very important now. Always, as professionals, you have to work on time, in time, just in time. So, what are these time expressions that you need to know? Those are also covered. So, just like that, we have different areas that you will be going through, right? Presentation slides and writing classes as well separately. Writing classes, actually it is not included in this course, but in English you have to understand this. Now there are some lessons that will be including in writing also. Now for example, business email phrases, that is more like writing, right? So similarly, how do we write a letter? So those are like additional stuff. I will be doing small sessions on those as well, but this is more into spoken part, not into writing. But if you need additional help, then I'll try to do something. Yes, so about the material that I have to actually decide later on. Yes, I might give you the material. Yes. And anyway, Ian, even though you won't get the material, of course, you will be getting the recording. So you can listen to it over and over again. And of course, you can train, you can practice while listening to it, right? So that will be very convenient. So you could practice using the recording. So now every time I explain something, you could, go through it over and over again, and, make sure that you are very familiar with the phrase, and you can keep using it even in your personal life or maybe in your professional life, for both. Okay. Yes. Any other questions that I have to answer before we start the lesson? Or else, are you ready for the lesson? Okay, so I hope everyone's okay. And if you come up with any further questions, you can send them in the Zoom chat. I will answer them later on. Okay. So the topic for today, the one that I chose for today is actually this. Some advanced phrases for confident English conversations. Now, I have divided this into further categories. Now, according to each and every situation, what are the phrases that we can use? And also, I have broken down this into, sometimes how do we do it informally? How do we do it formally? And when you need to sound polite, so we'll be looking at this aspect of politeness. Now, as professionals and also as English speakers, you have to always be very, very polite when you use the language, right? Not like in Sinhala. Now, in Sinhala, we don't really see that politeness that much, but in English, you see that a lot. The politeness, the formality, right? So we'll be looking at that as well. Now, the first part, what to say when you are asking for other people's opinion. Now, there are many ways that you could do this, but I'm going to present you with some simple stuff, the common ones, and then the advanced and maybe the formal ways that you can do the same thing. Okay. Now here, when you need to ask for other people's opinion, now this is very common in whichever profession you are working in, at least in your personal life. When you need to speak in English, you have to always ask for other people's opinion. Now, sometimes you present your idea and then you need to know what other people are thinking about it, right? Whether they are on the same side as y'all, as like, do they agree with you or else do they disagree with you? This is very important. We have to ask for other people's opinion. Now I will teach you how to do it. Now there are actually two ways: closed questions, open-ended questions. You have to know those as well. Now, when you need to ask for other people's opinions, the most simplest basic question that you would ask is, do you agree? Do you agree? And one more thing that I forgot to tell you earlier. Now, there's this difference when you ask a question and when you read out a normal sentence, there's a difference in these two. Now, you can't ask a question in the same way as as you read out a normal sentence. There's always this, the tone of your voice, it goes up and down and just like that. So you have to sound very natural when you speak the language, right? Now, if you are given to speak in Sinhala, අපිට අමුතුවෙන් උගන්වන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. You know how to ask a question, you know how to read a normal sentence. It comes from within, a very natural habit that you have. But when it comes into English, how exactly should we do it? You have to think about it just like your native language and then speak just like that. Now, for example, when you ask a question from somebody, you don't say, do you agree? No, it's like very blank. You have to ask it like a question. Do you agree? Do you agree? So according to your tone of voice, you can change it a little bit, right? So it should sound like a question. Otherwise, how are the people going to differentiate it? Is it a question? Is it a statement? What is this person trying to say? Right? So always, and one more thing. Now, when I ask students to speak in English and when I ask them to read out the passage or something like that, some students are very fast. Now, it's okay to speak, it's okay to speed up, but as long as it's clear, it's fine, because some students think that as long as you could speak fast, then you are good in English, but that's not really the case. Now, as professionals, it's okay to have a small pace, a normal pace when you speak in English, because the main objective is the other people should be in a position to understand what you are trying to tell them. Now, if you are like, a train, an express one, then the other people wouldn't understand what you are trying to tell them. So first thing is, you have to speak clearly, and also you have to work on your grammar. You have to work on your pronunciation. Pronunciation is very important, because now when you speak, if you pronounce the word in the wrong manner, it could have a different meaning. Now, one common mistake that all of you make, dessert and desert. Desert is කාන්තාරය. Dessert is අතුරුපස. හැබැයි මෙච්චර කාල ඕගොල්ලෝ කොහොමද කිව්වේ? අපි dessert කන්නේ යන්ද? Can you eat the කාන්තාරය? No, right? You can eat dessert but not desert. So like that, there are many words that you mispronounce. මෙච්චර කාල restaurant කියලා නේද කිව්වේ? How did you pronounce that word? It's restaurant. Restaurant. It's not restaurant, restaurant. Those words are wrong. It should be restaurant. Restaurant. And how do you pronounce the word parliamento? Is it parliament? How do we say that? It's parliament. Parliament. So just like that, there are many words that you mispronounce, and it is a very no, it's actually not a good thing. And especially as professionals, you should not make such mistakes, because this one simple pronunciation error could end up in misunderstandings also. Because if you give the wrong idea to your client, to your customer, or else to any person that you talk with, it is going to end up sometimes in an argument. Who knows, right? Because you have conveyed the wrong message. Why? Because your pronunciation was the mistake. You pronounced the word in the wrong manner, so that person understood it in the wrong way, right? So grammar is important, pronunciation is important, vocabulary is also important, and also you have to be very confident. You have to know what you are speaking about. And also, this one common mistake that I see with, like, mostly in Sri Lankans, even if they don't understand the question, they stay like, Okay, mata theruna wage, I can understand. Let's see how I'm going to answer it. Now, that is a very bad habit. If you can't understand, if you did not understand the question well, it's okay to ask it again. Can you please repeat it? I couldn't catch that, right? I couldn't really catch that. So like that, you could ask that person to repeat it. It's totally fine. You don't have to be perfect. Sometimes you can't understand stuff. It's totally fine. Because if you stay just like, if you act as if you understood, and when you answer the question, if you end up giving a wrong answer, then that is the problem. Okay, so there's nothing to be ashamed of. If you can't understand, it's okay to say that you didn't understand it. One mistake that y'all do. So please try to correct these mistakes and we'll go forward as a team. Okay, so some of y'all might disagree with me, but if you have any arguments, you can come forward. I'm open to speak. But I hope that everyone would understand what I'm trying to tell. It is the truth. Okay. Right. So back to the topic. Now, also one more thing. Now, when you go off topic, how do you come back on track? How do you come to the initial topic? I'm going to teach that today. Okay. Just wait and see. So first one, this is asking for other people's opinion. අනිත් අය ඒක ගැන මොනවද හිතන්නේ? ඒගොල්ලෝගේ අදහස කොයි වගේ වෙයිද? That is what you are going to ask. Right? Now, first one, the most basic, simple one is, do you agree? Do you agree? But this is a closed question. So mostly the answer would be a yes or a no. But if you need to get a more interesting answer, and also if you want to open up that question more, then you could ask one out of these. What do you think about that? What's your opinion? How do you feel about it? Now, these things are very important because now this is, and also in conversations, it's always good if you can have a flow in it, not just abrupt ends. Yes, no, maybe. That's actually boring, right? So if you want to get interesting answers and if you want to have the flow in that conversation, always ask open-ended questions, not just yes or no, but where you can express yourself better. This one, what do you think about that? What's your opinion? How do you feel about it? Now, if you want to be a little more polite, then you could say, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Or else, I'm interested to hear your opinion about this. Okay, yes, I will be sharing the notes. Some students keep asking about the notes. Yes, the students who have confirmed and paid for the class, yes, it will be shared with them. Okay, yes, you will be getting it. So yes, now if you need to be more polite, you would say, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. I'm interested to hear your opinion about this. Now, one more thing that I forgot. Now, today I will not be giving you the chance to repeat. So, what you can do is now, after I repeat it from my end, you can repeat it from your end. It's not like I won't be able to allow each and every one of you to speak up in the class today, just like I told you before. But just keep repeating from your end. Don't just listen and wait. Repeat the phrase after me, even while listening. Okay. How can we get the class notes? I will be sharing it with y'all through through emails or through the group chat. So yes, I will let you know. I will come back to that. So the students who have paid and confirmed, don't worry, you will be getting it today itself. Okay. Right. So now that is coming back to the topic. When you need to be a little more polite, you could use that. But now if you want to be more formal, and especially if you are at a meeting at work or else, where you have to speak a little more formally, then you would ask this, would you like to add anything? So it's just like a very nice way, actually a very polite way of inviting other people into the conversation to share their opinion. So you are not asking whether they agree or not. You are just, opening up the conversation so all the people can get into it and share their opinion. So it will be a very friendly discussion rather than a yes or no question. Okay, so always when you speak, it has to be interesting, not boring. Okay, so you have to know the good phrases, the polite phrases, the formal phrases, the informal ones. You have to know all of that, and not just it, you have to know when and where to use it exactly. Okay, so I will be guiding you through it. Do you have any questions with regard to the first part? I'll be moving on to the second one. So before that, if you have any questions, you can ask now. I'll be answering your questions. Now, this was about people's opinions. How do you ask for other people's opinion? If you have any questions, you can send it in the Zoom chat. I'll answer them. Okay. I don't see any questions. So I hope all of you have understood the topic. Moving on to the second one. Now, sometimes you have to interrupt other people when they speak. This is actually not a good thing to do, but there are situations in which you have to do it, right? So when you want to interrupt someone when they are speaking, or when they are speaking to an audience, or maybe giving a presentation, sometimes you have to speak up in that exact moment. So how exactly should we interrupt? Now, the most common ones now is probably if it is in a conversation where two people are speaking, right? Now, there are definitely ways to do it rudely, but don't do so. You have to do it in a very polite manner. So sometimes you have to interrupt in conversations. So of course you could say sorry, or else to be a little more polite, you could say excuse me. Now these two are very basic, very common. Everybody knows it. But apart from that, now, yes, and one more thing, after telling sorry or excuse me, you have to lead straight on with your different idea or your opinion there. Now, you have to interrupt with a purpose, not just for fun. Now. You have to interrupt and then maybe present your idea, or else you have to ask the question that you wanted to ask, right? So soon after you say sorry or excuse me, you have to ask the question. You have to present your idea that you wanted to add. Now, for example, if you interrupt someone in a conversation, now this is like a brief interjection, right? But if you want to share another idea, you could do it like, if it is an informal situation, especially, you could use one out of this, number 10 or 11, right? Do you mind if I add to that? Can I jump in here? So it's like literally jumping into the conversation, right? So this is actually informal, quite informal phrases. When you need to informally interrupt someone to add an idea to a conversation, then you could use either number 10 or 11, right? Do you mind if I add to that? Can I jump in here? So these questions can be asked when you need to interrupt someone informally. And also after that, you could say, I've got something to share, right? I want to say it now. So you could tell what you wanted to say. Okay. And how do you do this in a more polite manner? Okay, the second part of it. How do you do it in a more polite manner? What sort of questions or what sort of phrases can we use? Now, some of these you might have heard before, but you might come across some new things also, right? So please um, listen to it carefully. If you have any questions, if you have any other things to add, you can send them through the Zoom chat. Now, another word, interrupt, interrupt. So you could use that word itself. Now, for example, this 12 and 13, as soon as you look into them, they are like more or less the same. Right? That could be your question. So I will explain you why I have put 2. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry for interrupting. So more or less now, so as soon as you look into it, it's more or less the same. Why too? So I'll explain why. So now sometimes when you are speaking directly to the person that you are interrupting, then you can say, sorry to interrupt, but I've got something to say. That is if you are speaking directly to the person that you are interrupting. But if it is a situation where you are stepping into a room full of people talking, or maybe a meeting room or something like that, then you could say, sorry for interrupting. I just needed to share something with you. Now, for example, you are opening the door and entering a room full of people who are already speaking. Then it is better to go with number 13. Sorry for interrupting. I just needed to share something with you. Can you see the difference in these two? Now, as soon as you look into these two, they look the same. Not that much of a difference, but the situation that you use it is different. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry for interrupting. Sorry to interrupt is number 12 you can use if you are speaking directly to the person that you are interrupting. And number 13, sorry for interrupting. You can use that if you are stepping into a room full of people who are already talking. It could be a meeting room, a conference hall, whatever, right? A room full of people or else many people talking already before you enter the place. So it's always good to say, sorry for interrupting. I just needed to share something with you. Now, this is like being polite. Now, if you want to be more formal than that, now you are going step by step, a little step forward, right? So first we looked at informal phrases and politeness, and then now you are coming to become when you are in need of becoming more formal. How do we do that, right? So perhaps if you are working in a hotel, or else when you interrupt a customer, now this is very important because most of the time you work with clients, customers, not only in hotels, in any profession, you are providing a service, right? Now, there are situations in which you have to sound very, very formal. Then how could you say, sorry, may I interrupt you for just a moment? Sorry, may I interrupt you for just a moment? Now, if you can't read it at once, first you can, එකන මුලින් එකපාර කියවගෙන යන අමාරුයි නම් practice වෙනකන් you can take it one by one and then increase the speed. Sorry, may I interrupt you for just a moment? And then you can practice and then catch up with the speed. Next one, number 15, you could say, if I may interrupt you for a minute, I'd like to share something with you. If I may interrupt you for a minute, I'd like to share something with you. So these two are very good phrases if you need to formally interrupt someone to share your ideas or to ask a question, something like that. So, any questions? 13 can be used in a situation like 12 also. Yes, that is fine, but mostly we use it 12 for 12, 13 for 13. Okay, you don't have to mix it up. That's why I told you already, it looks the same, but the situation that we use it is different. But it is not wrong to use it in like vice versa, right? It's okay to use it even in the other situation. No one is going to blame you for that. Okay. Do you share this note? So I already told you all. So the notes will be shared with the students who have enrolled for the course, right? The ones who have paid and confirmed for group 4. Okay. But the recording will be given, the first one, because this is an open session. So the recording will be given for every one of you. One more important thing. When you have gone off topic, Now, this is a very awkward situation for all of you. Now, sometimes you keep on speaking about one thing and then you get distracted or you get nervous, you get excited, and then you start speaking about something else. That is what we say. You have gone off topic. Now, this happens a lot when you speak a lot sometimes. Now, when you have gone off topic, how do we come back on track? How do we, අපි ආපහු කලින් කතා කරපු එකට ආපහු පයින්නේ කොහොමද? This is actually really interesting. Now, if you go off topic, that means you have started talking about something else, right? Now, for example, you were first talking about apples, fruits, and then you talk about potatoes, something really, really not connected. Now, for example, you were given a topic on COVID-19, the pandemic situation, about the medical area, right? So you have to talk about these variants, how do you get infected, what are the precautions, and somehow you end up in politics. You talk about parties, something strictly irrelevant, right? This is not connected at all. You have to speak about the medical side only, no politics. So you have gone off topic. So once you have realized that you have gone off topic, how do you come back on track? Now, this is very important. At least once in your life, you might have come across something like this. Keep your professional life apart. Even in your personal life, when you start speaking in English, sometimes you might go off topic. So always please be ready with one or two of these up your sleeve because you might want to use them. Okay, what is up your sleeve? Sleeve එක ඇතුලේ කියලාද? No, not up your sleeve, not that. අපි කියන්නේ හදිස්සියකට අවශ්‍ය වුණොත් you have to use them. That is you call up your sleeve. So you have to know these sort of expressions. And sometimes we say it's not my cup of tea. ඒ කියන්නේ මගේ තේ කෝප්පේ නෙමෙයි කියලාද? Any ideas about that? Sometimes we say, oh, it's not my cup of tea. What does that really mean? ඒක මගේ තේ කෝප්පේ නෙමෙයි කියලාද කියන්නේ? No, it's not really my cup of tea means you really don't like it. It's not something you are interested in. So just like that, there are hidden meanings of these phrases. You have to know all of this if you want to be perfect, if you need to improve your English speaking skills. And more importantly, communication skills, interpersonal skills. You have to be perfect on those areas. Okay, right. Keeping that in mind, we'll come to this topic. Now I have gone off topic, so how do I come back on track? So you could say, so anyway, getting back to my story, you could say that. Now it really is just that simple shift in the conversation. So it's just one phrase that you have to say, and simply you can shift to the normal original topic that you were talking about. So anyway, getting back to my story, or else you could say, as I was saying, and then you could slowly move into the topic that you first started. Or else you could ask a question, where was I? Yes, about the COVID-19 pandemic. So like that, you could slowly change the, you can slowly come back on track. Okay, so these are sometimes you might find it like a trick, a technique that we use. Anyway, you can take it as anything, but this is really important. If you have gone off topic, and once you have realized that you have gone off topic, how do we get back on track? These are very important for you all as professionals, and keep your professional life aside. Even in your personal life, when you have to talk with your friends or any person, these might come in handy. That means you will have to know this. Okay, let me repeat those for you. 16. So anyway, getting back to my story. Number 17, as I was saying. Number 18, it starts with a question. Where was I? Yes. So like that, you could slowly change the topic. You could come back on track. Okay. So if you have any questions, will we be able to practice all these things within 16 weeks, within 2 hours per day? So that is actually my plan. We can work it out. Don't worry, because I have done this earlier. It is not my first time doing this. Actually, you guys are the fourth group. So I have already come across 3. So this is not the first one. And actually, this is the fourth one in the same month. So don't worry about that. And if you feel like you need more, then you can continue. No, it doesn't really matter. Okay. So that is actually my plan. As professionals, if you work as a team, if you keep, if you can stay dedicated for the class, you can complete it within 16 weeks. No issue. I can guarantee you that because I have done that earlier. It all depends on your effort also. Your dedication, your commitment also matters because from my end, I will be giving you 100% and even more than that. So as students, as professionals, of course, I know you are very busy, but still, if you need to see some improvement in your language, you somehow have to allocate some time for the language also, at least 30 minutes from your, take 30 minutes from your sleep at least. This is very important, might be the most important 30 minutes of your day, because this 30 minutes will have a good impact, a great impact. Now some students just, even when they were speaking on, like talking over the phone, they said, I really need my English because I need to get through this examination, I need to face this next interview for my next promotion, so English is the only barrier that I have. So yes, you have to be committed for this. So from my end, I am giving you more than 100%. So I'm asking, actually, I'm requesting from your end, you have to give the same. Okay. So this is a team effort as friends, as a team, and also as a tutor and the student, you have to have that bond. Okay. So I hope we could work this out. And I'm always here to help you out. No worries. Okay. If you have any other questions, you can send them on the chat. I'll be answering those as well. Any other stuff that you have to ask before we go for the next topic? IELTS class. Okay, I haven't started yet, but I'll be probably starting it soon. Spoken English classes for kids of 7-year-old. Actually, I am actually running out of time because all my slots are getting filled. So right now I don't have any classes for 7-year-olds, but if they are going for an international school, then they could join for the other course, because as a 7-year-old it's like grade 2, right? So then they could actually, because some of the students who are going for international schools and who are looking forward to improve their spoken aspect of English, they join my other class, the one that I mentioned earlier. So you could contact me later on. I will give you details on that. But for now, I'm not really teaching those like small ones, no. But some of the students have joined, even the kids have joined the other group in the sense, the spoken English Mulasita Saralava, that one they have joined. So if they are okay with that, they can join the other class, but not professionals, of course. So professionals one is from undergraduates and upwards. Okay. Right. So I hope I have answered your question. If you need to get any more clarification, you can contact me later on my number. Yes. Just, I think I already told you about this. Now, when you need to double check what you heard, now I told you, now especially this is very important if you are speaking with a native English speaker and even with Sri Lankans, no issue. You think you understood, but you just need to double check what you heard. ඔයා හිතන ඔයාට තේරුණා කියලා. හැබැයි කොයි එකටත් අපි double check කරගන්නවා මේකමද මෙයා මගෙන් අහපු question එක කියලා. So if you are in a position like that, how exactly do you ask it? Let me repeat myself. Okay. Now, these are really important expressions to learn to help you as you are listening so that you can feel more confident about your answers. Okay. So when you are answering someone else's question, this is just a little check to make sure you are answering it accurately. So if you didn't quite hear it perfectly, you could say one out of these. So that means sometimes you didn't hear it clearly. So then you have to double check. or else you think you understood the question, but still you are not certain about it. So then you go and double check with the other person. හරියටම මේකමද මෙයා අහන්නේ කියන එක අපි double check කරගන්නවා. So then if it is a situation like that, you could say this. So what you are asking is, and then you could repeat what you heard. ඔයාට ඇහිච්ච එක ඒ විදිහටම කියන්න. So if you have understood it in the wrong way, then that person would correct you. No, I was not asking about that. I was asking about this. So then they would correct you. Okay. So that's why I told you, you don't have to be ashamed of yourself to ask for the same thing again. It's okay. It's normal, natural to do. Okay. 3 more on that. So what you want to know is, ඔයාට දැනගන්න ඕන මේක ගැනද? Do you want? So what you want to know is, and then you could repeat what you heard. Or else you could say, do you mean ඔයා කියන්නේ මේක ගැනද? You could rephrase or paraphrase it. කියන්නේ වෙන වචන වලින් එයා කියප එක ඔයා තේරුම් ගත්ත විදිහ යාට කියනවා. Do you mean? Or else you could say, in other words, what you are saying is. Now, these are just ways that you could use in situations in which you think you understood the question, but you still need to double check it with the other person. ඔයා හිතන ඔයා තේරුම් ගත්ත මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ හරියට කියලා. හැබැයි ඔයා හරියටම confirm කරගෙන නැහැ. ඔයාට හරියටම ස්ථිරව තේරුම් ගන්න අමාරුයි මේකමද එයා මගෙන් අහන්නේ. එතකොට අපි ආපහු එයාගෙන් පොඩි question එකක් දාලා අහනවා. This is just a way of double checking what you heard. Okay? So these 4, one out of these 4, not everything. You could use one out of these. Okay? And yes, just like I told you, this is just a really natural part of conversations. And most importantly, if you are working in customer service, now more or less everybody is providing a service. So if you are talking to your client, your customer, it's always okay to use this word confirm. And this would sound a little more formal also, right? So තහවුරු කරගන්නයි අහන්නේ. I'd like to confirm what you said. So it shows that you are double checking, right? Because you have to be very certain about the question. Otherwise, you will end up giving the wrong answer. Do we need to remember these phrases? Actually, it's up to you to decide. If you feel like it's important, you could practice this afterwards. Okay? So, ඕගොල්ලන්ට හිතෙනවා නම් දැන් මේ situations මම මේ generally ඕගොල්ලන්ට දෙන ඒවා. ඕගොල්ලන්ට ඕනේව අරගන්න පුළුවන්. සමහර විට ඕගොල්ලෝ දන්නේවත් තියෙන්න ඉඩ තියෙනවා. So the things that you don't know, you can, practice it and you can be familiar with those stuff. Okay? So it's up to you to decide. So I'm just giving the knowledge. You could take whatever is needed. Okay? And also, yes, most importantly, you will be getting the recording and the note. So you can go through it leisurely. You can go through it on another time and pick whatever the new stuff that you have. And then you can practice it over and over again until you become familiar with those stuff. And also it has to be, saved in your muscle memory. So ඒක අවස්ථාවක් ආවොත් මේක use කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා ටක් ගාලා you have to, get it mind. Right? So I will be teaching you techniques how to do that and that, this and that. So don't worry about that. For the time being, just make sure you know how to do it. Okay? Any other questions? There's no necessity. අපි මං කියන්නේ මේ compulsorily ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඔක්කොම මතක තියාගන්නමයි ඕනේ කියලා. Now, if you face a situation like this, it's always good to have something in handy. Right? Okay. So now if you need to use this verb confirm, which would sound a little more formal, you could say, I'd like to confirm what you said. Or else you could say, excuse me, can I just confirm that? Can I just confirm what you said? Now these are very formal phrases that you could use. Okay. I'd like to confirm what you said. Excuse me, can I just confirm what you said? Like that you could ask. Okay, if you have any questions up until the stuff that we have covered for today, you could ask now before we move on to the next topic. මොන හරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න පුළුවන්. මෙතනට වෙනකන් කියා දීපුවා තේරුම් නැත්නම් එහෙම මොන හරි තියෙනවා නම් you can ask questions. Okay, it's okay to ask even in Sinhala, doesn't matter. Someone has sent a very good class කියලා. Okay, thank you so much. And apart from that, if you have any questions, you could put forward. I will answer those. Okay, if you don't have questions, I will continue the lesson. So one more important thing that you have to know is actually now it's very easy to agree with someone. But when you have to disagree with someone's opinion or someone's idea, that is a little bit difficult to do. Now, even when you agree with someone, එකඟ වෙනවා නම් කවුරුරි කියන කතාවත් එක්ක, so that is very easy to do. And I will teach you some new phrases that you might want to know. Right? So, yes, absolutely. Now, this is actually very common because nowadays we use this absolutely part very much, right? So when you need to agree with someone, you could say, yes, absolutely. Or else you could say, I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. Okay. But now we have some really fantastic expressions that you could use apart from those two. Some new stuff that you might want to know. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Or else you could say, I couldn't possibly agree more. I couldn't possibly agree more. Or else you could say, I really strongly agree with you. Now, it's always okay to use these adverbs, new words, many words in an expression. Okay. So rather than going with the normal basic sentences, always try to use something new. Okay. So you don't want to sound boring, right? You don't want to sound basic. You have to always be, very interesting, something new every day. You have to learn new things and also you have to use them in your real life. Okay. So one thing that you can use is, I couldn't agree more. That means you are completely agreeing with that person. In other words, right? I couldn't possibly agree more. I really strongly agree with you. Now, these phrases are very good ones if you can practice when you speak. Okay. All right. So moving on to the next part. Now, this is again another topic, which is actually now sometimes you don't completely disagree with that person, but up to certain extent. සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම එයත් එක්ක එකඟ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ටිකක් එකඟ වෙනවා. But not completely agree වෙන්නෙත් නැහැ, completely disagree වෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. එයා කියන එක නෑමයි කියලා කියන්නේ නැහැ, but up to certain extent you are okay with his idea. But you are not completely agreeing with them. So when you somewhat disagree with someone else's idea, how do we say that? Now, this is where you fall into the trap because now agreeing is very easy. But when you want to disagree with someone and also without hurting him or her, how do we do it in a polite way? How do we do it in a nicer way without hurting the other one's feelings, හිතරින් දන්නේ නැතුව කොහොමද disagree වෙන්නේ? You could use one out of this. I see what you mean, but I have a different opinion. Or else, I understand your point of view, but I have a different opinion. Or else number 30, I can see where you are coming from, but I've got a different opinion. I've got a different idea. Like that you could say. Or else you could say, I agree with you up to a point. However, I've got a different idea. I've got a different opinion. like that, you could say, now this doesn't show that you are completely disagreeing with someone. This is just somewhat disagreeing with the person. Okay, I see what you mean, but. So there's always this but, because you are contrasting, you have a contrasting idea. Okay, so when you change sides, you normally use but, however, nevertheless. These are also very important. Now somebody asked, how do we you know without breaking, how do we have the flow of a this thing? I can't exactly remember the question, but yes, one paragraph without stopping. So you need to have these linking words, just like you asked. Conjunctions are also important, linking words are also important, right? So there are some phrases like that, so I will be giving you an understanding on that as well. Okay, yes, now moving on to the next part. Now, earlier I told you, when you somewhat disagree with the person, what you would say. Now, when you completely disagree with that, සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම එකඟ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So that means not even a small bit. You completely disagree with the person. So then how would you say it? So I'm going to show you a few, actually, not just one. I agree with you to some extent. 31. I agree with you up to a point. Yes. Yes, you could say that. I agree with you up to a certain extent. Up to some extent. Up to some extent is okay. Yes, Jaya Kumar. Yes, your idea is good. I think I already told you that when I was explaining. I agree with you up to a point. So the same, ඒකම තමයි අපි කියන්නේ, I agree with you up to a certain extent. That is also fine. Okay. Next one, when you need to completely disagree with someone, what are the phrases that we can use? I don't feel the same way. I don't feel the same way. Number 33, you could say, actually, I don't quite agree. Or else you could say, actually, I disagree. Or else you could say this one, I'm afraid. Now, what is the normal meaning of I'm afraid? The normal meaning, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of spiders. I'm afraid of snakes. I'm afraid of what else? So, Mama bayai kirane kiyane, I'm afraid. But here, it is not just being scared, not being worried. It's to sound more polite. We use I'm afraid. To sound polite, you would use I'm afraid. Okay, so just like I told you before, when you disagree with someone, you have to be very polite also, because you can't hurt that person's feelings also. So then how would you say, I'm afraid I don't agree with you on that. I'm afraid I don't agree with you about that. Right? So afraid means sorry naming. Sorry and afraid is two different things. We say sorry sometimes to apologize. When you have done something wrong, then you would say sorry. But I'm afraid is not to mean sorry. Okay. So one student have asked, afraid means sorry. The Kiela. Afraid and sorry are two different words. You say sorry when you need to apologize for something. That means you did something wrong and you need to correct that, or else you are pleading sorry, right? Afraid means not that. You would say afraid just to sound polite, okay? Not to apologize for something. Sorry, okay? I'm afraid is just to sound polite. I think or feel. What do you want to know? Think or feel? මොකක් එක්කද connect කරන්න හදන්නේ? Your question is not clear. you එකනේ afraid වෙනුවට think or feel දාන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා දාන්නේ. I'm afraid, I don't agree, I think, I feel. So now I feel, you could use I don't feel the same way. For that you could say I don't feel the same way, I don't think the same way. That is fine. But I'm afraid is I'm afraid. You can't change that. Okay. I'm afraid, I don't agree with you on that. Okay. So there are some other examples that I have given you. I'm afraid I can't help you. I'm afraid we have run out of sausages. I'm afraid I don't agree with you. So may I'm afraid can I phrase you can sometimes use it in other situations also. Okay. Any other questions that you need to ask? If there's anything else, I will answer them. Okay, I don't see any other questions. I'll continue. Yes, now sometimes you can add this word respectfully. Respectfully. Now this is very important because now normally when you are talking to your superior or someone in a higher position than you, and then when you want to disagree with their opinions, you would have to sound formal, right? Then you could say respectfully, sir, I have to disagree, or else respectfully I have to disagree, because then it shows that you are in a position, you are not rude, but still you are okay with presenting yourself, your idea, right? So you don't have to be afraid all the time. You could say, you could be, you have to be in a position where you can express your ideas freely, right? So then you could say respectfully, I have to disagree. Okay. And also now sometimes when when you get into conversations and when you feel like this conversation is not going anywhere, you will end up with an argument. Now if you feel like that is going to happen, then you could end the situation by telling this, well, we'll have to agree to disagree then. That means now when you feel like people are getting frustrated and annoyed because of this conversation, because you can feel that this is not going anywhere, so දෙන්නම එක පැත්තකට එන්නේ නැහැ and you are not going to come into a conclusion, so it might create some sort of a tension and the conversation is getting heated up. Sometimes it could end up with a fight, so things like that could happen. So when you need to avoid that sort of situation, you could end the conversation by just telling, well, we have to agree to disagree then. Okay, so it is very much better if you could do that rather than going into a very strict argument. With all due respect, yes, that is also a good one. With all due respect, that is also similar to respectfully. Yes, very good. Palita, I suppose. Yes, that is also a very good phrase that if you could use. With all due respect, or else you could say in one word, respectfully. Both are the same. Both have the same meaning actually. You could use both of them. Yes. Okay. Yes. Now, next one is actually some sort of an advice that I would give. Now, normally when you speak in English, your gestures, your facial expressions are very important. And normally when you get into like some strict or some heated up conversations, try to always control your gestures. Now, the way you roll your eyes, the way you sigh sometimes, and sometimes, you shake your head. Now, these things are very, not good. Okay. So if you can avoid these situations, then it's good for your profession also, because it is considered as rude when your body language, like when you use your body language to disagree with someone, it doesn't always go in a good way. So always try to avoid this. Now when you shake your head, roll your eyes, and when you do this, you sigh sometimes, right? So it shows that you are frustrated and you are very annoyed with them. Okay, so before doing that, you could end the conversation by telling this: well, we'll have to agree to disagree then. This is a good way to end the conversation if you feel like the conversation is not going anywhere. Okay, rather than going into this, going into your facial expressions, your gestures, because now always, now how do we use your hands when you speak? How do you use your eyes? The volume, these things are very important in any language. So when you want to sound polite, how would you say? And when you need to convince someone, then it's okay to sound a little more confident because you are convincing someone to do something, right? So even when I speak, you might have noticed it. I don't always speak with the same flow. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low, very polite, right? So you have to know that. And also when you ask a question, how do you do that? When you read a normal statement, how do you do that? And when you sound excited, nervous, surprised, how do you do that? So you need to know, and it should come from within. Apita practice karavanna ba obanda ba eka, right? So we can't, put that inside. You have to do it naturally. So to do it naturally, you have to have the practice. Okay. So I can't say now when you have something to be surprised when you have to do it. So I can't teach that. Okay. So it should come from within. It has to be very natural. I can't teach someone to say surprise, right? It should come from within. So always it's up to you to practice. Okay. I will be giving you, different expressions, different activities, and also we'll be having some group activities during the group classes. So that will be very interesting when you guys to get together and do certain stuff. So always related to the language. How do we start a conversation, end a conversation? How do we ask personal questions? How do we ignore the question, right? These things are very important. And also sometimes when you need to change the topic, how do you change a topic? This is also important. Now sometimes you get into a conversation and that person keeps boasting about himself. Oh, I bought this new car, I got into this new company. So that person keeps boasting about himself. Now you are very awkward, you are very, oh, this conversation is very boring because he just keeps talking about himself. Now, how do you change the topic? These tricks are very important, right? Now, when you want to change the topic, it is sometimes when you run out of ideas, or else when you feel like it's boring, or else just one person is talking in the conversation, right? So when you need to change the direction, or else when you need to divert it a little, then you could say this: that reminds me, and then you can get the attention to your side. Okay, so now all along that person was continuing the conversation, just one man show. So he was boasting about himself. And then when you need to change the topic and change the direction of the conversation, you could start with this: oh, that reminds me of my earlier appointment, so I have to rush there. So like that you could say. That is how you change the topic. Now you can't exactly you can't abruptly enter the conversation. Oh, wait, I have something to do, I have to go. You can't say like that. There is a way that you have to do it. And most importantly, if you are in a very formal situation, you have to act wisely. So you need to know some phrases like this: that reminds me, speaking of that, speaking about that. So you could use phrases like this. Okay. Now, for example, if that person is talking about this, he has gone to Greece. So he's sharing his experiences with you. So now this has come to a point where he keeps boasting about himself. Now you have to uh, get the attention to your side. So how would you change it? This one. Speaking about your holiday to Greece, did I tell you that I've got a trip planned later in the year. So now you are getting that attention to you, and now you are going to lead the conversation. So you could talk a little bit about your vacations, your stuff, and also you can, do it halfway, right? So there's always the space for the other person to get into the conversation. So it always have to go half and half, not just one person talking all the time. Okay, so the conversation has to be interesting also. This one, some people might be wondering what I'm talking about. It's this. Can you see the phrase? This one. Speaking about your holiday to Greece, did I tell you that I've got a trip planned later in the year? So like that, you could change the direction a little bit. Now, still you are talking about holidays, vacations, countries, but you have altered the direction. Now you have get the attention to your end, your side. Okay. So then you don't have to listen to what he's telling all the time. Now, maybe where you have to introduce something completely different. Now, sometimes you are talking about vacations, countries, and now you want to talk about a completely different topic. Okay, සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම වෙනස් topic එකක්. Now, for example, you are talking about vacations, countries, traveling, and all that. And now you are going into some serious discussion, maybe about your next promotion or else the office stuff, work. So when you want to introduce something completely different, then you could use one out of these phrases. Okay. Oh, by the way, did I tell you about this? So that hints you, this person is going to introduce something completely different. කලින් එකේ අපි මොකද්ද කළේ? තාම holidays ගැන කතා කරන්නේ. හැබැයි attention එක අපේ පැත්තට ගත්තා. But in the next one, we are not altering the direction, we are completely changing the topic. අපි සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම topic එක වෙනස් කරනවා. Vacations ගැන නම් කතා කර කර හිටියේ, vacation topic එක totally අයින් කරලා we are going into a different topic. So that is we call, we introduce something completely different. So then how would you do that? Oh, by the way, did I tell you about this? Or as you could say, oh, while I remember, and Sri Lankans are very good at that. Oh, මට මේ අමතක වෙන්න කලින් කියන්න දෙයක් තියෙනවා. Before I forget, I've got something I want to say. Now, this is a good phrase, this one also. And especially Sri Lankans use this a lot. I have heard it a lot. This one. Before I forget, I've got something I want to say. These things are really interesting if you could practice and you could use it in your day-to-day life. Okay, before I forget, I've got something I want to say. Or else you could say, this has nothing to do with what we are talking about, but I've got to share it anyway. So සමහරවිට අපි කෙලින්ම directly කියනවා, this has nothing to do with what we are talking about now, but I've got to share it anyway. හැබැයි කොහොම වුණත් මට ඒක කියන්නම ඕන වගේ. Right? So there are things like that. Now, like අපිට එක පාටම මතක් වෙනවා මේක කියන්න ඕනේ කියලා. So from nowhere you somehow, remember something that you have to say, which is totally not relevant for the topic. So when you are introducing something completely different, you could use one out of these. Before I forget, while I remember, oh, by the way, like that you could use. Or else you could use this last one. I know this is completely changing the topic, but I've got to tell you, right? So I know this is completely changing the topic, this one, but I've got to tell you. So these are actually good phrases if you could use when you want to completely change the topic, when you introduce something totally different. Okay, right. So if you have any questions on the phrases, anything, you could still send them on the Zoom chat. Okay, this is actually my favorite part. How many of you like to get into, I mean, not arguments, when you have to talk about controversial topics? And do we have any lawyers here? Because this will be more important for y'all. And in any profession, sometimes you have to talk about controversial topics. Can, like, anybody who knows the meaning of controversial, or at least a synonym for controversial? What exactly is to be controversial? Controversial. Yes, we have quite a few lawyers here. Yes, I can remember when you were enrolling into the class, there were quite a few. So what are controversial topics? I will give you some examples. Now, if you are talking about politics, if you are talking about religion, if you are talking about social issues, there's always, yes. Um, yes, the problem is I know these things, but the words don't come out to me freely. So I will answer that question also. Give me a moment. I'll come back to that. Huh? So controversial topics, something like that, right? Improve. Okay. Many requests coming on, right? So, okay, give me a moment. I will answer these questions also. Now, one student says she knows certain stuff, but the words do not come to me freely. Now, what the reason for that is you have a mental barrier to language. Even though you know that it is not in your muscle memory, or else you get nervous, you get excited when you are given to face a situation. So to face that, you have to get exposed more. You have to keep practicing, and there are certain techniques that you could use to do that. And one of those, yes, one of the other students have sent a text as in, I have a limited vocabulary, so I get stuck when I'm speaking. I need to improve the vocabulary. Yes. Now I have discussed both of these topics in the beginning of the class also. So some students, even if they know the part, they don't know how to freely express it, right? Because you don't have that confidence. Okay. Uh, Spoken English and intermediate. No. That those are two different ones. I'll come back to that. Okay, you can contact me personally. I will give you the details. That is a different one, not this. This is for professionals, and that is a different one. Okay. Yes. Speaking about vocabulary and also this issue, one thing is you don't have that much of a, a good confidence level to present yourself. The reason that you are not confident enough is you know that within yourself that you are not enough. You are not, fully equipped with the things. One thing is, just like you said, limited vocabulary. And even if you like, you think that you know it, but when you try to speak, you really don't know, or else you really don't know the exact situation in which you have to use it. So I will be training you according to the situation. Now, if you get a situation like this, these phrases are the most important ones. Now, most of the students, they might have heard this before. Kaling mewa ahala ඇති. But you really don't know how do we link these phrases into real life situations. That's where you have gone wrong. Just think about it a little bit. ටිකක් හිතලා බලන්න එතන නෙමෙයිද වැරදිලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා. That's the place. That's actually the place where you have gone wrong. You might have heard this 100 times before, but you still don't know how exactly do we put it into a real life situation. So that's what I'm trying to train you for. And talking about vocabulary, now, for example, there are certain exercises, activities in our class. We'll be taking topics. Now, for example, at a bank, what sort of vocabulary do you need to know? And specifically, if I give you a topic like this, now, when you are going to apply for a credit card, what sort of words that you have to know? And apart from the credit card situation, when you go into a bank, what are the mostly used words that you need to know when you have to deal, especially with these transactions? There are a set of words that you should know, and from topic to topic it differs. Now, for example, as a doctor patient, when you get into that sort of a conversation, there's a different set of words. And keeping your professions aside, generally looking at the situation, there are phrases that you have to know. Like, it doesn't matter which profession you are involved in, those phrases are common. If you need to speak in English, those phrases are common for any profession. So the place that where you have gone wrong is you have not got trained according to the situation. No matter samharai words dannava. Now, just like you said, you know everything, but it is not enough. No matter words kotak tarang hitiyat, if you don't know how to use it in a proper situation, doesn't matter. It's not worth it, right? So when as soon as you learn a new word, you have to know the meaning. Of course, you have to know the meaning to use it. And how exactly do you place it in a sentence? That is the problem. වචනයක් දැනගත්ත පළියට මදි. ඒක වාක්‍යයකට දාලා පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ කොහොමද? ඊළඟට මම දෙන එක කටපාඩම් කරලා මදි. Right? It's no, like, it won't be effective if you by heart everything that I say. What I'm trying to do is I will be giving you examples and I will be training you to use that word in a real life situation. And there are some phrases that you can by heart. සමහර ඒවා පුළුවන් පාඩම් කරලා use කරන්න. Because I will be teaching you the phrase itself, not just the word. Okay, so word එකක් දැනගත්තම I will be telling you, I will be guiding you how to use this in a sentence and how do you change the sentence according to the situation. And just like I have been repeating myself, okay, for 4-5 times now. There's this thing called basic English, advanced English, professional speaking, formal, informal. I will be teaching you the differences. And now, just like I told you before, they are like එකමදේ කියන්න කීප විදියක් තියෙනවා. You can tell the same thing in different ways according to the person that you are speaking to, according to the situation that you are facing, right? So those different stuff you have to understand and you have to analyze it in your mind. So of course you have come a long distance. Even now there's just small bit of it that you have to improve. So don't worry, don't stress too much. It is going to be easy. Okay, so if you have any other questions you can ask. I will be open for your questions also. So we are running out of time, so if you have any other questions, please do ask now. So any other things, any other stuff that you have to clarify? So I just talked about the situations and of course the weaknesses that most of y'all have. Confidence, vocabulary, can't remember stuff. So remembering stuff is actually your fault, not mine, because you have to always sometimes memorize and sometimes it depends on the practice. The more you practice, the more you could remember and you can relate those into real life situations, not just අපි කියන්නේ කටපාඩම් කරලා වැඩක් නැහැ. You have to know how to use it in a real life situation. I will be teaching you that. So it is going to be much more easier for you. Right? So I'm doing that part for you. Okay? So I don't see any other questions. So we'll go back to the topic. So we were talking about controversial topics. Controversial, that means argumentative. Always there's an argument. Some people say yes, some people say no. Some people agree, some people do not. Especially like politics. No matter how many arguments you put forward, there's always at least one person who would not agree with you. So if you know that it is going to be a controversial topic, when you put forward your ideas, how do you do it? Now, when you come, like if it is a situation like this, you have to keep the conversation open and also positive, not offensive. Okay, so you can't offend other people. You have to be very open and also you have to keep the conversation positive. Can I get this? Okay, for the 100th time, I will be sharing the note with you. Don't ask the same question again. Man kalinot kiwa notes denava. Don't worry about it. Okay. So don't ask the same question more than twice because I've been telling the same thing. Okay. Don't worry about the presentation. I will be sharing it with you. Okay. So don't worry about that. You are not going to miss at least a letter. I will be giving you the notes. Okay. Don't worry about that. Okay. Right. So coming back to my topic. So if you have to present yourself, now you can't actually ignore this position, ignore this situation. You can't avoid it. So then how do you do it? අපිට ඒක මගහැරලා යන්න බෑ. අපි කොහොම හරි අපේ අදහස ප්‍රකාශ කරන්නත් ඕනේ. But it is a controversial topic. So people are very afraid when it comes to controversial topics because you already know that somebody is going to disagree with what you are saying. So then if it is a situation like that, you could always use the safe phrases, right? So I have presented you with 6. You could use one which you feel is comfortable. First one, I know not everyone agrees with me, but this is what I think. මන් දන්නවා හැමෝම මාත් එක්ක එකක වෙන එකක් නැති වෙයි. හැබැයි මේක තමයි මගේ අදහස. So like that you could say. Now if I tell it in Sinhala, or else if you get to say it in Sinhala, you could manage the words, right? You could put that into a good, in a good order. But you have to be familiar with the phrases in English as well. Now, this is something common. I know not everyone agrees with me, but this is what I think. But apart from that, what other phrases can we use? I know this is a contentious issue. What is a contentious issue? Contentious is another word for controversial. Contentious, argumentative, controversial, all of those bear the same meaning. You have to know the names also. Names in the sense synonyms also. Contentious. And then you can go and explain it, right? I know this is a contentious issue, but still I strongly believe that my idea is better than yours. So like that you could say. And number 46. It might be an unpopular opinion, but I strongly believe. What is unpopular opinion? Hamoma kamathi වෙන එක නෙමෙයි. But now if you take as a percentage, let's say 100 dwelling, 80 is saying no. But that 20% matters, right? Sometimes. So you could say, it might be an unpopular opinion, but I strongly believe this is a good one. Okay? So ඒක හැමෝම කැමති දේ නෙමෙයි. හැමෝම එකක වෙන decision එක නෙමෙයි. But I strongly believe හැබැයි මම තරේ විශ්වාස කරනවා මේක තමයි හරි එක. Right? So in Sinhala you have 101 words to say the same thing. But in English also you have to be ready with those words. You have to know those exact words. දැන් කවුරුරි කිව්වා හරියටම වචන එන්නේ නැහැ, freely එන්නේ නැහැ, vocabulary නැහැ. So now you could use them. Right? And one more thing. And මං එකක් විතරක් නෙමෙයි ඕගොල්ලන්ට options ගොඩක් දෙනවා. ඕගොල්ලන්ට ගොඩක් familiar, ගොඩක් comfortable, convenient එක choose කරන් use කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. Right? So I'm not just giving you just one choice. I'm giving you more. You can choose one out of those which you feel is comfortable and then you could practice it. Okay? Okay. This one, I don't see eye to eye with everyone on this matter. මොකක්ද eye to eye කියන්නේ? ඇහැට ඇහැ කියලාද? Okay, interesting one again. Eye to eye, what does that mean? I don't see eye to eye with everyone on this matter. That means you are not in the same side as everyone. In other words, we say, I'm not going to agree with your opinion. I don't see eye to eye with everyone on this matter, but I think it's really important to discuss this. Okay. And number 48, whilst you may not agree with my views, I'm definitely interested in hearing yours. Now, this is actually a good one. and very fair one. Okay, so මං කියන එක විතරක් නෙමෙයි මං කැමති ඔයාගේ අදහසක් ඇහුම්කන් දෙන්න. I'm already interested in hearing yours as well. So I'm not the only person who's talking. I'm always ready to hear out your ideas also. That is a good one to go with. 48. Okay. Okay. Now, one student has asked, do you teach us the ways to do assignments, writing dissertations, research and all? Please, if can, it would be great helpful for the studies too. Now, one thing that you have to understand, assignments, dissertations, research, that is actually the writing part. Now, I told you in the very beginning, I will be focusing on the spoken part of it. And if you need that sort of help, please contact me personally. I will try to give you some sort of instructions on that. And that will be a separate class, not this. Okay. So if you need that sort of a help, I will have to do something, but not in this class. Okay. Because I can't do writing and spoken everything together, because this is a very specific part. Assignments, dissertations, research. Okay. Right. Pronounced whilst abhi while kela kiyane, that is like whilst. Okay, so yes, miss, I don't know, is it's a Mr. or miss? Yes, miss, somehow this Gunavardhana person, I'll talk to you about it later on. So if you could, you can personally contact me and get an idea on that. So because now that is a very specific, and it is all related to this analyzing skills now. So I can help you on that, but not in this course. Sorry about that, because now here we are focusing on the spoken part, and there are certain phrases that you can use in writing. But the question that you are asking is very specific. Assignments, dissertations, it could be something related to you, but not common to everyone. Okay. I'm interested in joining to a writing class separately. Okay. So I will actually organize something for that if everybody asks for it. So please contact me personally if you need that sort of help. I'll try to do something about that. But this class is mainly unspoken, not for that. Okay. So if you feel like you have to know, you need a class for that, I will help you, but it is a separate one. So please contact me personally if you need to get more details on that. Okay. Right. So this one, whilst you may not agree with my views, I'm definitely okay, can't we use while for this instead of whilst? They are synonyms. Dekama use karana puluwan. Both have the same meaning. If you feel like whilst is different, difficult, you can say while. No issue. Dekama okay. Both are fine. Okay. And the last one, I'm not trying to ruffle anyone's feathers. Mokad ruffle. This is, you ruffle means you mess with someone. Konde ausana ruffling, that is ruffle. Okay. So when you mess up with someone, you say ruffle. So normal ruffle is you mess up. Now ruffle anyone's feathers means what? Okay, now some students keep asking about individual classes. Please contact me personally. I will give you details about that as well. Okay. I have limited slots for individual classes, but I'll try to give you a slot. Please contact me personally on that. Okay. So this one, ruffling anyone's feathers. Then methana feathers it is not literally feathers. This not the bird feathers that we are talking about. Okay. This is actually a fun idiom. So that means you have a hidden meaning behind this. Ruffling anyone's feathers, that means you are not trying to mess up with someone. You are not trying to make somebody upset or angry. Okay, that is the meaning of ruffling anyone's feathers. Okay, are you clear with that? So not trying to ruffle is you are not trying to make anyone upset or angry by pointing out your idea, because now this is, we were talking about controversial topics now. So always there is a yes and a no for that one. Okay. So By presenting your idea, you are not trying to make somebody angry. So if you can put that first and then present your idea, then it will be better, because now other person can't tell anything about it, because you have already told that you are not trying to mess up with someone. So this is a very safe phrase and also a very tricky one if you want to talk about a controversial topic. And moving to the last part for today's session. Okay, sorry, I think I have taken more time than I promised. Sorry about that, but I hope it will be very useful for you. So please bear with me for a few moments. So when you need to end the conversation, what are the simple expressions that you need to know? Now, normally you don't like to get stuck in a conversation, right? So you can move on if you can use one of these simple expressions, and also it will be really helpful for you to politely end the conversation. Politely. Politeness matters, okay? So number 50, well, I'd best be off. It's been great chatting. So this is one way that you could use to end the conversation, and it is really polite. And number 51, anyway, I'd better get back to work. ආපහු මං කර කර හිටපු වැඩේට ගියා නම් හොඳයි. Or else I better get back to work. You could use one out of these. And the last one, I'm so glad I ran into you. It's been great catching up. I'll see you soon. Now here there are two hidden meanings in this one. Can anybody tell me the meaning of I ran into you and catching up? What is the meaning of ran into you? I ran into you. මම ඔයා ගාවට දුවගෙන ගියා කියලාද කියන්නේ? I ran into you? No. Ran into you means you unexpectedly meet someone. අහම්බෙන්. හිතපු නැති වෙලාවක කාවාරි මුණ ගැහෙනවා. අපි unexpected situation. You meet someone unexpectedly, unplanned. Plan කරලා නෙමෙයි අහම්බෙන් මුණ ගැහෙනවා. Then you could say I ran into you. Now, for example, I have students from Kandy. Okay. Now I'm from Gampaha district. So just in case I'm traveling to Kandy, I might run into one of y'all. So I might unexpectedly meet one of y'all, right? Like that. And what is the meaning of catching up? Catching up. අල්ල ගන්නවා කියලාද කියන්නේ? Catching up. Is that the meaning? No. Catching up is not that. Catching up means when you meet someone after a long time, you talk about everything that has happened after, like from when you have last spoke to each other. එදා ඉඳන් දැන් වෙනකම් මගහැරිච්ච දේවල් කතා කරන එකට තමයි අපි කියන්නේ catching up කියලා. So when you talk about everything that has happened since you last spoke to each other, that is catching up. Filling the missing areas, what has happened during that time. That is the meaning of catching up with someone. I'll see you soon. We will meet again soon. I'll see you soon. Okay. So these are the phrases that I wanted to discuss with y'all today. And we have come to the end of today's session. So I hope this was a really interesting and also a very, very helpful one for y'all. So if you have anything to ask before we conclude, you can ask them now, or else you could contact me on this number. If you have any further questions, you could ask now, or else you could contact me later on this number. I will help you out. Yes, thank you for joining for today's session. And yes, it was an open session for everybody. So I hope you got a good idea about the course, the conduct of the course, the content of the course, and what our main objective is. Okay, so let me thank you again, and good night, everyone. I'll see every one of you next week. So if you have any other questions, you could contact me later on this number. Okay. So thank you, everyone. Stay safe and good night. I'll meet every one of you next week.